Hello, hello, hello. I would like to continue from where I left off last night. Who is this? Dave, how you doing? Did you get the PDFs this morning? If you got the PDFs, it's a supplementary exercise for this polyfunk rhythm. Who's this? Joseph, how are you, sir? First time here? What I want to do is just wait a little longer because I'm a little early, and I have just so that the chat populates. Who's this? Randy, how you doing? What's your time in Oklahoma, Randy? It's 1 p.m. now. I guess it should be 12. Anyway, Joseph, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself. You want to get on my mailing list and get some PDFs? Here's my email. You email me. Yeah, there's an hour difference. Now, when you got the PDFs, you made a statement that it's early. Joseph, you're from California, so it's therefore 10 o'clock. Okay, good. All right. Now, I do 2 lessons. How you doing, Jim? I do 2 lessons a day. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I wanted to continue from yesterday's lesson, but Joseph was not here. But if he emails me, I will send him the PDFs. Gentlemen, Jim, Randy, Dave, and Ed were here last night. Now, you should have gotten the PDFs for the supplementary exercises. And what I should have done was give you them first, as opposed to the 1 through 22. You have any questions on the PDFs? Anyway, don't become upset, gentlemen, here, because what I'm going to do, maybe not tonight, but starting tomorrow, I'm going to give some reading lessons. Okay, because I want you guys to get stronger with the reading. That's like half the battle, you know, when you see a PDF sheet. If it's difficult and you can't read it that well, it makes it more difficult. Do you agree with that? Now, I don't know exactly where everybody is at with the reading, so I'm going to take for granted. We're going to start off really simple. We all should have the syncopation book, no? If if not, the Buddy Rich book. Okay? Or I could even demonstrate it from the stick control book, reading. Anyway, and also there's one book that I want to do a few pages from, and that's Variations of Drumming by Ralph C. Pace. And review your dynamics, gentlemen. Okay? Now, any questions on last night's lesson? Yeah, but I had to get on the count, Jim. See, because the line is 3 measures, I had to bring the font way down, so that's why it's so small. I tried the other way, it was all cluttered. So that's the count for the whole page. You will get the next lesson 2 measure increments where the count will be a little bit bigger, okay? The font. Now, it's a simple process. Line 1 of the PDFs. It's just the stick control book between the bass drum and the snare drum. Page 5, line 1, is written 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to interpret that as 1 E and a 2 E and a E and a 4 E and a. Who's this? Hey, Joe. So we take the first line of stick control book and interpret it in 16ths. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. Then we do a substitution. Instead of making the rights on the snare drum, we're going to play them with the bass drum. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? And we're going to add the left foot on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ha. Then we're going to put the right hand in. That's the 3 against 4 pattern. 1 E and the 2 and 3 E and the 4. 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 and. Now I'm going to do this very slow. Okay? And you might just want to do the bass drum and the snare drum first with the right hand, nice and slow. Here's number 1. Look at the PDF, and I'm going to play the bass drum part and the snare drum part and the cymbal part. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. The 1 E and I make a mistake and I start talking, I lose where I'm at. Let's do it again really slow. Better yet, so you can hear the right hand part against that. Let me play it here. I gotta fix that ride cymbal. It sounds like shit. 1 E and 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4, so on and so forth. Do you understand how that's going to go? It's very confusing. I get very dizzy. It's not easy. Do we understand the value of the lesson? I really need to start working on these. By Monday, I'm going to have them all smoking for you guys. I got to stop writing so much. Doing these lessons twice a day, 4 days a week, has been taken away from me personally, my personal time for practicing, but that's okay. So I just extend my day. Do we understand the purpose of that, gentlemen? Yes or no? In the chat, please, por favor. Because I'm going to start working later on through the lesson on the workbook. So Ed, Jim, Joe, do you have the workbook, Joe? Randy, you don't have the workbook, do you, Randy? Dave does. Who does not have the workbook? We all understand it. That you understand the value of this. This is going to add to the independence, like you're expanding, like Ed said yesterday, you're expanding your vocabulary. Good. All right. So everybody's in the loop here. Okay. Who does not have the book? That's right, Joe. I'm sorry. Who does not have the book? Joe and Randy, why don't you sign up, become a member of my site? Everybody else in here is. It's $19.95 a month, reoccurring. If you don't like it, just get out of it. How's that sound, Joe? How's that sound, Randy? Let me put my website here. All right, that's a good question, and I was going to get to that. The question is, what do I suggest adding first or doing first, or how to enter actually the whole exercise? All right, so everybody's an individual, everybody has their strength and everybody has their weakness. So look at you guys. Well, sign up then, Joe, okay? You too, Randy. Here's how I would approach this. All right, let's get the feel first. The whole trick here, it's brand new material for you gentlemen, so you want to do it slow. Let's just do the bass drum and the snare drum slow for one measure. 1, E, and the. 2, E, and the. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and the. Now that's pretty simple. You're there with that coordination, man. It's not a problem. Bass drum, snare drum. Now you want to add the next limb. So you say, what should I do? Should I add the hi-hat or the ride cymbal? My recommendation would be, okay, add the hi-hat. 1, E, and the. 2, E, and the. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and the. You get that going smooth. Do that for a little period of time, a minute, 2 minutes, slow. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when you're doing something like that slow, or when you're doing actually anything slow like that, what's going to happen, you're going to get very tired very quick, because that mind is focusing. You're right on it, right in it. Okay, now, you added the bass drum, the snare drum, and the hi-hat, slow. Now the next move would be the right hand, all complete. 1, E, and the. 2, E, and the. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and the. You get it, guys? Now, I just suggested the bass drum and snare drum first. You could take any of those sequences and do it, but at least do two things at one time. You could play just the bass drum and snare drum like this, and a right hand now, or the right hand just with the ride cymbal. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and whatever works for you. Any way you enter it, you need to be comfortable. And the whole trick is to do it slow. Once you do this slow and get the whole thing complete and do it 20 times or 10 times without a mistake, now you're flowing. Stay there. Do it for a period of time. Then up the tempo somewhat. Use a metronome. Does that help you out, Dave? Does that give you a little bit of insight? This is not easy at all. Got it, Joe? Randy? Dave? Who else is there? Hey, boom, all these people today. That's good. That's a good thing. I like that. Joseph, are you still here? He's in California. Okay. Now, we all understand that, correct? Now, I'm not going to show you my struggles. You have to be aware of your struggles with that. So you take the first line. Do not move to the second line until you have that first line flowing freely. Then go to the second and then the third. What I would do, here's another way I would do this. And it really strengthens the concentration. Okay? For example, I'll play the line just with okay. What I would do now, if I put the bass drum and the snare drum together with the hi-hat and no ride cymbal yet, I'm going to go 1 E and the 2. 3, 4. Now that was the measure without the ride cymbal. Now I'm going to play that again, but this time the only thing I'm going to add with the ride cymbal is the first downbeat, which would be 1 E and. Now I'm going to do that, and when I finish that measure doing that, I'm going to continue still putting the ride cymbal 1 E and and this time add the and go through the whole loop. Then do it again, playing 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and then do it again, playing to the 4. Now that's going to really not hurt you. It's going to help your concentration because you have to really remember where you're at. You know, if you make a mistake, keep this going. 1 E and 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to add 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E. I'm sorry. 1 E and 2 E and then I let it go all the way through. It's very difficult when I have to concentrate on the multiple things here. I can't do multiple tasks at one time. All right, and the hi-hat, the bass drum is not going, the snare drum rather, is not going to give you to stay in the beat. The mental thing is 1 E and 2. You grab hold onto that count for dear life, and that'll keep you in place. You have the PDF. Read it. Don't worry about the color on the drums, the sound of your drums yet. Put everything rhythmically in place, then tweak it. And you'll do just fine. Agreed, gentlemen? Now, like I said, I'm going to do some reading, and you have the sheets on dynamics. P equals pianissimo, piano. PP means pianissimo. I think PPP means pianissimo, whatever those Latin words are. Forte, fortissimo, mezzo forte, so on and so forth. We all know what that is, crescendo, decrescendo. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a journey. I think I'm going to try for Thursday into Dave Stanik's Mastering the Tables of Time. It's not very difficult, but it's extremely helpful. And it's going to open up some new doors. Now, for example, I'm going to give you an example of a couple lines from Joe Morello's book, Master Studies, The Table of Time. Now, when I attack this, I'm attacking from up here because it's for reasons of understanding the rhythmic flow, how to make the transition from line 1 to line 2. And I'm always playing like this. That's line 1. One dynamic marking. So what if I played, I would say, let me play a little heavier. I would say that would be fortissimo, or forte rather, let's say forte. Now, let's say I want to do one measure forte, and the second measure piano, and back to forte, then piano, like. Pianissimo. Do you see what we're going to do? That's was a big part of his book in the dynamics. The dynamics makes the music happen really nice. Dave Stanik is brilliant. And that book is going to be an iconic book in the drum community. I'm sure, I don't know why it's not now, because it hasn't had the publicity it should. So I want to help my friend out and help him out, to produce it, to make the book visible. All right. Also, I heard today, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Buster Bailey. I don't know how old he was. I didn't really read the whole thing, but he passed on. And he has an iconic book, which most drummers have, called Wrist Busters, or Twisters rather. I'll get some more information on him, and I'll let everybody know tonight. But he was a symphonic, classical trained drummer who was actually, I would say, on the level of George Lawrence Stone with the snare drum and so on and so forth. I'll get a little bit on his biography, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But anyway, you understand where we're going? It's reading, gentlemen. Now, I need, I make statements like, you have to remain humble to go forward. Now, I need everybody who's in here to be honest. I know everybody's at a different level. Some guys have been playing for 2 years, some guys have been playing for 100 years, and everything in between. Now, a lot of guys I know, I'm self-taught, I can play. Yeah, they go play barroom gigs, and that's about it. You throw a chart in front of them, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So a lot of guys just don't know how to read, or they kind of know how to read. All right? Now, we need to strengthen our reading skills. And I know, like I said, everybody here has different levels and different skills. Can you be honest in this chat? And I'll respect it. Do you want to go forward with your reading skills? What is your reading level? What you think? Put it in the chat, so I know how to design a lesson for that. Okay, gentlemen, please. And tonight we're back into the workbook and a little bit of what we did before. So come on, guys, move forward. Let me hear you. Strengthen your reading. I have to say that I am not intimidated by any kind of chart because I have the ability to read. Most times, what is this? You're old, Randy, huh? You're not old, man. I'm the old dude in the place. You know, I have to say, the one gentleman that really put reading on the map for me and really helped me, well, also besides showing the count, that helps, is understanding the math. All right, and then eventually we get into phrasing. But let's go back to what Randy said. He's the old guy. He's old as shit. Ha! What do you want me to tell you? You know, I'm the old guy. And one teacher I had years and years ago actually helped me learn how to read a lot. I mean, he really put it for me. He really did it. And the books that we worked from was the Portraits in Rhythm, Contemporary Studies for the Snare Drum by Fred Albright. I don't think that one's in print anymore. But we went basically from the beginning of the Buddy Rich book, the Syncopation book, the NARD book, the two Charlie Wilcoxon books, and it really helped my reading. The one book that put the whipped cream on the ice cream was Variations of Drumming by Ralph C. Pace. All right, Ed, so you could be an asset to the group. All right, well, let me address that statement there, Dave. Now, you could read on the treble clef, you could read the bass clef, you could read the percussion clef, which is excellent. The thing is, reading drum music is slightly, not mathematically different. It's whatever instrument you read, whatever clef you read, the math is the same. What you're talking about is if you get a chart, a big band chart. Now, I have yet to see a big band chart tell me when I have to hit the tom-tom and the snare drum and the bass drum. What the charts are given to you if you're playing a big band, it is like a road map for the section. 4 measures, intro, the A section, 8 beats, sax solo until finished, then back or whatever. Like a road map. The song, the music itself is going to tell you where to hit it. So when you get a methodology book, they have the key. This is snare drum, this is bass drum, this is tom-tom 1, 2, tom-tom 3, tom-tom 4. With today's market, with 9,000 drums, I hate to see the drum key on Terry Bozzio's set. Yeah. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the drum key. If you can read rhythmically, and you understand the math, and you understand the treble clef and the bass clef and the percussion clef, you're in business. And understand the dynamics, and I'm sure that you do. All right? What is this? What are you complimenting? Ed is always a help, without a doubt. Okay, it's time for me to close down. I will be back tonight at 7 p.m., and I'm going to try to do a longer lesson. I don't know if I can get some PDFs to you guys by tonight, if not tomorrow morning, all right, about the reading. But we're going to do we're going to work out of the workbook and some review of what we just did today. So I will be back 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And Joseph, email me. If you don't email me, I can't add you to my list. Do not give me your email here. Just email me. I gave you mine. Now, guys, go to my site, please, and register. It's going to help me financially. I would sincerely appreciate it. Everybody here has done that except a few. Hold on. Send me these pop-up shit. Where is this? Hold on. Okay, any questions? No questions. Okay. I'm going to shut down until tonight, 7 p.m. Have a good rest of the day.